Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa, and I'm from Beyond Your Sun Sign. This is your weekly tarot reading for each zodiac sign for March 14th to the 21st. All right, we're starting off with Aries energy. So Aries, this week, we've got quite a bit of cards for you. We've got 4 cards, and it's starting off with your partnership. So 2 of Cups, and there's a lot of strength that you have to have when it comes to this relationship. Like you really, as Aries, the god of war, you know, you guys rule war, the opposite of Libra energy, which is all about harmony and peace. You guys are exactly opposite. Not to say that you don't like harmony and peace, but you would rather fight for harmony and peace than roll over for it. So a partnership is really asking you to stand up to your strength, to your war energy, because as it stands right now, you are completely pinned down when it comes to your thoughts surrounding how life is happening at home. You know, there's something going on at home that it's almost like a level of boredom, right? And Aries energy, you know, whenever I read for like Venus in Aries, or, you know, anybody that even has like the moon in Aries, challenges are important. You need challenges in order to feel happy. Venus in Aries wants to go out with their partner and have adventures that are challenging, that are, you know, enacting fear and having fun. And it's not quite like the Venus and Sag energy where it's an adventure, but it's like that, the Aries energy, which is more of like energy out, like just more fighting for something, right? So perfect date night for Venus and Aries is to go axe throwing, you know what I mean? So keeping that in mind, and then look at your home life right now. Are you having fun? Are you doing something challenging? Are you feeling challenged? Are you feeling too much peace and too much harmony and need a little bit more excitement through that fight? As it stands right now, this week, Aries, a relationship is calling you to fight because you've been so bored. So a relationship is doing something that's trying to pull that fight out of you. And you can either take the bait and have that conflict and get your re-up, or you can try and outlet it in another area by saying, I see what you're trying to do here. Not going to fight with you. Instead, I'm taking, you know, my blackout rage and I'm going to apply it to my exercise routine, you know, or I'm going to apply it to my journaling, or, you know, my whatever. Another way for you to get that out, my other hobbies. This week alone, look to the relationships that are trying to trigger you, knowingly doing things that you've already given a response, a reaction, and then seeing that and realizing it's because they're witnessing a boredom or an apathy at home, and they're trying to get that fire back out of you, trying to get that fight. And your thoughts have just kept you so stagnated at home that the universe is now putting other people in your path to be like, Aries, you still got that fight in you? What's going on? Like, where are you at? Right? So really looking this week for those triggers as a reminder that you're not challenging yourself enough at home, and realizing that energy has to get out, and it will just come out in another volatile, explosive, and toxic way. So finding another way to outlet that after you see that trigger. All right, Taurus, this week, March 14th to 21st, be careful because divine intervention is coming. Something completely out of your control. It'll feel like a splash. So the way that I think about splashes, I can't swim, okay? So like a splash, and also I hate getting my hair wet. So a splash of water to me is a very traumatic, terrifying, aggravating, frustrating, annoying experience. Whereas for my toddler, a splash of water is fine. Woo! You know, we're going swimming, we're at the water park. Yay! So when I see a splash of water, to me, it's going to have a completely different response than when somebody else sees a splash of water. So this week, you are getting splashed in the face. You are getting a bunch of water splashed in your face. Can you swim? Do you like getting your hair wet? Are you wearing waterproof mascara? These are the questions that you want to be looking at when that splash hits your face. Are you going to be annoyed, or are you going to see it as an opportunity? Hey, this is fun. But no matter what, be careful, because divine intervention will be that splash in your face, And it's whether or not you can swim and you're wearing your waterproof mascara, or you want to just focus on the fact that it's incredibly annoying and it's dangerous and frustrating. It's totally up to you. So the splash is coming regardless. How you're going to respond, that's really the only control that you do have. And that's why the cards are saying, be careful. Okay. Splash is coming. And of course, if you need help with that splash, you know where to reach me. If you are a Gemini, so this week, Gemini, March 14th to the 21st, we have the Hanged One. You are going to be required to make some sort of sacrifice regarding what makes you feel secure at home. Okay. So at home right now, there is a little bit of tippy toes walking, you know, when it comes to your foundation, whether that is with your parents or with your family, or even in your immediate environment, there is a little bit of an elevated walking on tippy toes, trying to be quiet about something, trying to kind of sneak around something. And now this week, it's like, I can't do this anymore. It will be a sacrifice to speak my truth, but Gemini energy needs to communicate. So the obstacles / blockers for this energy is the 8 of Cups. So moving on, what we were talking about last week for you, moving on emotionally from this feminine fire sign. So a female, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, and what they think, what their belief systems are. So really thinking about moving on, avoiding this feminine fire sign, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, because their thought process is a little different than yours. And that's part of the sacrifice that you have made, where it's that tiptoeing and kind of not sneaky, but kind of like tiptoeing around, because the fire energy can be so volatile and reactive that it's like, okay, let me just avoid this completely because they don't think the same way I do. But this week, it is time to just recognize the sacrifice you're making in order to avoid trying to change this female fire energies, this female fire signs thought process. That is a massive sacrifice for you because you're a messenger, right? And just because this feminine fire sign keeps shooting the messenger doesn't mean that the message still doesn't have to be given, right? And it still is received. So the sacrifices that you've been making, you're going to see this week of how much you've been tiptoeing around just saying your truth. It is time to just speak your truth, especially to this female fire sign. All right. Speaking of female fire signs, next up, we are in Cancer energy. So speaking of female water signs, we have Cancer, and Cancer this week, we have the 8 of Wands, which is opportunities coming your way, opportunities that feel like hasty decisions. You were close to losing this. You were this close to losing this opportunity. And this opportunity does require some sort of movement for you. You have to start thinking about the process of moving forward because you were so close to losing this opportunity. You don't want anything to block you from losing it again. So this week, it is time to start thinking about how this process looks moving forward because you don't want to lose it. You were already so close to losing it. So it's time to move forward, recognizing how delicate this opportunity is and just go from there. Okay. It's not something that was guaranteed. It's not something that, necessarily you should have had. You were very close to losing it. So don't screw it up. Start moving forward so that you can embrace this new opportunity fully and it not be like, okay, why did we give this to Cancer? Do they really want it? They're not making any process. They're not moving forward. They're not showing the universe that they're happy that they had this opportunity given to them. Now is the time to just keep making those plans, keep moving forward, keep thinking about the future forward with this opportunity so you don't lose it. Okay, if you are a Leo, we have the Knight of Wands, so a young fire sign, a young Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, that there's something about this person that you could wring their necks, like this young fire energy. When I say young, it's not necessarily younger than you, but it's not somebody that you necessarily look up to. They could be equal or immature. So age is not really, it's more of a energetic youth. So this young fire energy that you could just wring their necks. I had to ask for clarification and it just showed that it is karmic and it's because of the Hermit card. So the karma is to see if you really like to be alone. Think about Leo energy. First of all, it is fixed. It's exactly opposite Aquarian energy. Aquarius is kind of more of like the social outcast where they're kind of like off on their own. Leo has that same type of energy, off on their own, but not because you're othered, more so because you're idolized. So for the Aquarian energy, they're othered, where it's like, oh, you know, get away from me. Whereas the Leo energy, it's the sun, where it's like, okay, well, I can't be close to you because you're too bright, but I still see you as an othered person and I gravitate towards you. So Aquarius and Leo is othered, but Leo energy is revered for that otherness, whereas Aquarian energy is almost ridiculed for that otherness. And what's happening this week for you is you're realizing the Knight of Wands, that other fire energy in your life that is young, is showing you that you're not actually on the same page. You are othered in their eyes, and they are seeing you on some type of pedestal that they've put you on karmically. And now that alone feeling, being on a pedestal is very isolating. You know, I listen to like celebrities talking about, you know, how alone they feel. And as an empath, I can't help but feel for them. Where other people are like, oh God, shut up and go cry into your millions. It's like, no, like that is very isolating to be, you know, to have the world around you and everybody around you and everybody listening to you, but nobody hearing you. That's a very isolating experience. That's Leo energy. They put you on this pedestal and then here you are being like, hold on a second, let me come down. And they're like, no, stay up there until we break down your pedestal because we put you up here. We're going to break you down in order to show that you're human, that you're not godlike, but we've put you up there. So this week you're seeing the Knight of Wands, this young fire energy. One of the reasons why you can wring their neck is because they put you on this pedestal and it's like, you've othered me, but that's not fair. Let me come down. Let me be equal with you. Okay. So using this week to just really look at how this young fire sign has put you up there in order to allow you to fall, essentially. It's not fair. And it is time to recognize that you've been othered by them and find a way to try and find that unity back, which depends on what their sign is. If they're a Leo like you, they'll understand it. But that Sag and Aries energy, not so much. All right, if you are a Virgo, we have the Lovers card. The Lovers card being about our soulmate unions, our karmic connections to other people. It is 6 energy, which is reminding you of your responsibilities when it comes to these karmic connections. We have a responsibility to either clear the debt so that we're not bringing it back in a next lifetime. And it is our soul's responsibility to do that. So because it was just the Lovers card that popped out, I asked for another card to clarify it, and it's the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is a spiritual teacher. This karmic connection that is your responsibility to see what it is teaching you. That's the Hierophant energy saying this karmic connection has a higher lesson and is your responsibility to figure out what that lesson is, or else guess what? You're going to be going through this Groundhog Day every lifetime. It'll keep you perpetually stuck on earth. So trying to clear it, you know, you don't want to be locked here because you're not learning the lesson. This karmic connection is a very, very high teacher. It's like taking a university class with one of, you know, the most profound professors, and you have a hard time with them. You're like, teacher, what are you trying to teach me? You keep failing their exams, even though you're showing up for every class. It's like, what is this professor trying to teach me? What am I supposed to be learning from this? So you keep failing the exam and it keeps you stuck in this timeline with this karmic connection. But how about instead of continuing to take the exam, you wait until you're ready to take it. So you say, all right, I see that you're trying to teach me something. I don't fully grasp it. Can I get an extension before the exam? Can I take the class one more time and then I'll write the exam? Okay. This week, you'll have that opportunity to look at what the karmic connection is trying to teach you and whether or not you want to take that exam and fail it or pass it, okay? So being really, really hyper aware of your karmic connections this week. All right, if you are a Libra, we have one card for you this week, and it is the Sun card. The Sun card is saying not to focus on your worries too much. I know that the worries can be aggravating and like they're like itchy. Like as I was saying that, I was like, my nose was itchy, and your nose represents your worries and itches. Of course, are an anxious thought or an anxiety. So your worries definitely will be magnified this week. But this week it's saying, don't allow your worries to be the cause of your anxiety. Have optimism, have faith, have courage, knowing that your worries will be subdued as they always are. Like when we look back on the things that we were worried about and we're like, oh, that wasn't that big of a deal after all. And you kind of feel kind of silly because it's like, wow, I really made a huge deal about that. I even like talked to people about it and it wasn't that big of a deal. No shame, but now going forward, we have to remind ourselves of that. So maybe this week, what I would do is think about a time where what you're worrying about this week, think about a time where this was mirrored, where it was paralleled. So I'm a Libra and I'm worried about where I'm going to be moving into next. I've gone through this 13 times, like so many times I've gone through this before. And guess what? It's all worked out. Like, even though I'd be in tears, worrying and stressing, it's all worked out. So with that, I need to be optimistic that my worries now, they will subdue, they will go away, to the point where in 5-10 years, I might have to actively try to think back on what I was worried about. That's how minuscule they'll be that I won't even remember them, that I'll have to try to remember them, like we're doing now, actively trying to remember a time when our worries were paralleled with what's going on right now, with what worries we have right now, remembering that, and then seeing how it all worked out just fine. You're still here, you're still thriving, you're still happy, healthy, wealthy. It worked out. So now with that, our worries should only just be optimistic. Our worries should be completely eradicated, because in the past, it's been proven that the worries did nothing but cause more anxiety, and it all worked out anyways. So we're having optimism this week that everything will work out, because we realistically, that's realistic. It's worked out before, it will work out again. Like, no point in worrying. All right, if you are a Scorpio, said that weird, we have the 9 of Wands. So the 9 of Wands is, of course, you know, really just holding on to something intensely, recognizing that you lose other opportunities when you hold on to something so quickly. You have a level of vulnerability this week that you haven't had in a while. And Scorpio with vulnerability, it's going to feel super uncomfortable, because Scorpios want to be in power. They want to be in control. They do not want to be exposed, and they do not want vulnerability. Even me telling you that you're going to be vulnerable this week, you're probably like, no, refuse, putting my guards up. I can never be exposed. I can never be vulnerable. But this week, there's going to be a real beauty in your exposure, in being so exposed, so vulnerable, so open. You might as well flow with it. So for instance, if you're applying for jobs, that's an opportunity to tap into your vulnerability and say, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I've done. This is what I want. This is, you know, how I feel about it. Yeah, this is a rare opportunity to get super, super vulnerable, expose yourself so that you can let go of an energy that's been exploiting your guards up, an energy that's been exploiting the fact that you don't want to be vulnerable. So maybe your current position, your current employer has been exploiting the fact that you refuse to let your guards down and be vulnerable enough in order to even look for another job. Small example. I hope that this works out for you, because this week is really going to be a transformative beginning for that Scorpio energy. Okay. All right. If you are a Sagittarius, we have the Magician card. The Magician card, of course, is, you know, this is a card that I haven't seen in a while, especially through this deck. So I want to kind of look at it. It's absolutely saying to get your crystals out, especially those quartz and amethyst crystals, because you are tapping into a higher source just this week. Just this week, you have a very rare opportunity to express what it is you want and then manifest it 100%. So really thinking about your manifestations, really focusing on what you want to bring in, the power that you do have to bring in, and taking responsibility for that. So not just responsibility for the good thing that you brought in, but also responsibility for some of the not so good things that you brought in. You can bring those in, look at them, and then release them. And you can do that through crystal work. So when I use my, my tourmaline or my citrine bracelet, I know that I'm actively manifesting something in, and I'm taking responsibility for it. I was posting about being careful with your citrine crystals, because when I was in the grocery store, I was coming out saying, it was hard for me to open the door. I knew I had too much stuff, and I knew that when I parked, it was very compacted. So when I was coming out, I was like, I always have room around my car in order to comfortably get my stuff inside. And as I was saying it, I was noticing how busy it was. So I was like, there's just no way that that's going to happen. And when I walked up to my car, there was a spot open next to me. And as I walked up, a car pulled in. So I was like, okay, citrine, you have to be super careful because it's literally listening to every manifestation. It heard my first manifestation of space beside my car, and then it heard my second manifestation of there's no way that that space will be clear. And it's almost like some sort of cosmic like joke that a car pulled in order to be like, yep, right? So being super aware of the crystals that you are using, not just the crystals, but also what you're manifesting outward. So don't say everything works out well for me. And then in the next breath, say, actually, hold on, there's just no way. There's no way. All right. Just for this week, just to test it out, just to see how it works. Okay. Next up, we have Capricorn energy. We have 3 cards for the Caps this week. Major transformation about a decision that you have to make. So it is time to make that decision if you haven't already, but now time is tick, tick, tick. You've got very, very limited time left now to finally make that decision based on what is empowering you at home. So the power that you do feel within your home and family. You've gone through major transformations, Capricorn, and now it is time to make a decision based on those transformations because you've empowered yourself so much. So you are the one to make that decision. It's on you. Obviously you're worried about it. You're kind of holding back. You want to just make it and be relieved of it and just be done with it and being able to just like flush it away. But it's almost like you're holding back and it's like, let me just wait a little bit longer. How long can I hold on? How long can I hold on? You got to go. You have to release. The Death card is here. It's asking you and pushing you to release. It's time to just release because you have the power. You have enough support and power at home and within your family in order to make that decision, okay? And you know where to find me if you need help with that decision making. Okay, after Capricorn, we have Aquarius, and Aquarius, new feelings, new emotions surrounding what you want to put out there, okay? Because it's like a very, very thin, frail situation here. It's time to feel different about what you want to create because you're really on this like edge right now. It must be the Aquarius and Taurus energy right now that when it comes to your foundation, your values, your self-esteem, your beliefs, everything is changing right before us, right before the Aquarius energy. And it's saying, feel different about what you're putting out there. Feel different. You know, sometimes it's saying, you know, feeling better about it, being like, wait, hold on a second. You know, I'm watching what people are doing. I'm doing that too. And I'm marvelous at it. I'm better at it. I'm amazing at it. I need to start honoring that and stop being so humble and tap more into that opposite side, the Leo energy, and say, you know what, I'm really good at that. I'm really good at doing hair. I know that there's tons of hairdressers, but I'm really magnificent at it. And I know that. So I need to feel different about how I'm marketing myself, what I'm putting out there, how I'm speaking about myself to others, how I'm promoting myself. That was the week to really look at how much you've slept on yourself by not promoting yourself more and feel different about the way you put yourself out there, because the way you put yourself out there is magnificent, is beautiful, is innovative, is refreshing, is pure, is loving, is, you know, socially acceptable, you know, socially warranted. You accept all walks of life. You know, you're friends with everybody and their cat. And that is magnificent. That is a beautiful, remarkable energy. And it's time to feel different about it. All right. If you are a Pisces, this week you've got a lot of responsibilities thrust upon you. I say thrust upon you, but you actually pulled in all of these responsibilities. Let me take that on my plate. Let me take that on my plate. It's kind of like that empath that makes all these plans when they're at a high. And then when it comes to actually doing it, you're down here and your social batteries have already run out. And it's like, oh crap, now I actually have to do this. Your responsibilities were made when you were positive and optimistic in a state of flow. And now that you actually have to do the responsibilities, It's feeling incredibly low vibration. So these are the cards that popped out over top. We have heartbreak over the friendships that you have when it comes to feeling good about the shifts that you've been investing in. So this is why you're feeling so bunged down and overburdened with responsibility. It's just because you are heartbroken that you can't have more fun and enjoy yourself a little bit more freely, especially when it comes to your friends. But this is something that you've created, and now it's time to just shift yourself and invest into that. Okay, shift and invest into the fact that, you know, the friendships and the fun and the partying, that naturally is falling away because you have more responsibilities that are more important that have to be put on the priority list. But there's no shame in recognizing that that is going to be heartbreaking, right? Like a lot of the times we, especially Pisces energy, will connect to, let's just say, an escapist type thing, whereas could just even just be video games. And it's like, okay, well, now I can't play video games because I took on a new shift at work and now my video games aren't going to be priority. And yeah, that sucks. And that's heartbreaking because I've connected with people online, or, you know, I feel good in this fantasy world. So now it's almost like a little bit of a heartbreak for me that I have to let go of that in order to focus on my responsibilities. And we're keeping in mind that it's just this week, right? This is minor energy. That being said, if you would like a personalized reading that gets into more of an in-depth major energy, you can reach me. You can find me on Instagram at Beyond Your Sun Sign, or my details are below in the description box. Hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you next week. Bye.